All right, welcome to Coach Pruitt's post-game press conference. Coach will make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions. Hit the raise your hand function, and then we will call on you. Coach?
I think Florida had a really good football team. They got a couple of exceptional players, and I thought they played really well today. But I thought our kids fought hard. When you look at the circumstances that a lot of these guys were around, we made a ton of mistakes today. But some of the mistakes we made were probably where we need to do a much better job getting the guys ready to play. And some of them was because guys hadn't practiced in 2 weeks, so this team was too good to let them off the hook. And we let them off the hook from our defensive standpoint about 4 or 5 times on third down in the first half. And when you're playing inside man-to-man, you shouldn't get beat inside, and that happened to us a couple of times. But anyhow, we I thought our kids fought really hard. But I think this game was very similar to a lot of our games this year. If you look at the way we play, about 90% of the plays are probably winning football, maybe top tier in this league. But unfortunately, you got to count on all play. And there's been 3 or 4 plays on each side of the ball in every game, and particularly this one, that we've made mistakes and either didn't take advantage of a call, whether it was offensively or defensively. Maybe we ran a good call, but we just didn't take advantage. We didn't capitalize on the situation we were in, or maybe we made mistakes. But I thought our kids continued to play hard. I thought Harrison and JT both done pretty good jobs. Considering they hadn't played a whole lot of ball. It's pretty good defense they're going against, and I thought they had some poise there. Obviously, with Harrison being the first time he's played in a game like that through all the way through, probably held the ball a few times too long there, but thought he kept his poise. I thought he scrambled well, kept his eyes down the field. Really a lot of positives there to see, and I thought JT came in and done a really nice job too. Brian Maurer, we played him a couple of plays, and Brian brought a little bit of spark. But I just really liked I really liked a lot of things about, especially our offense at the end of the game, the way Ty Chandler was running, the way the guys were trying to finish. I mean, that's who these guys are. They work hard every day. They try to finish. They got really good character. And like I just talked to them, there's probably not much difference, the team in this locker room and the team in the other locker room. Obviously there is based off record. But that team that just beat us, they won the East today. So I asked our guys, how much difference is there in us than them? Okay. And let's figure out how we get there as a staff, get there as a program. I think a lot of our guys recognize, where we're at. They recognize the fact that, we've made some mistakes along the way, that if we can eliminate those, it gives us a lot better chance to have success. So I'm excited about getting back, going to work on Sunday and see how these guys respond. We've got 2 more games left. So we'll get back and go to work and take the positives we had from this game and continue to grow with those things and, fix the things that we made mistakes on. By that, I'll take any questions.
Questions, we'll start with David Oven, and then we will go to Jimmy Hines.
Yeah, Jeremy, you talked a lot about Harrison's night, but what sort of precipitated that switch to JT late, and what's the status of your starting quarterback position right now?
Well, JT really had 2 weeks of really good practice work. And then on Wednesday, he's just throwing a ball in a shoulder pop. So we didn't really know if he could even play going into today, but felt like he could. So we had a plan to play both of the guys going in if JT could, and kind of went with Harrison there, and we're kind of rocking along okay. I know hadn't created a lot of explosive plays, but we were kind of changing the momentum of the game there. And then gave up a drive right before the half there. But, as the game went in the second half, there's a couple plays out there that maybe we could have been a little bit more aggressive on. And JT's probably, from an experience standpoint, he's 2 years older than Harrison, just getting him out there and getting him going. So I thought JT done a nice job at the end.
And your quarterback competition?
I mean, guys, every week, okay? So y'all won't ever have to ask me this again, okay? Every week we go out there and we see who competes in practice, who does the best job that we feel like affects the guys around them, all right? And we will do that as long as I'm the head football coach here at every position. So you don't have to ask me ever again.
Jimmy?
Jeremy, could Jarrett Garantano have played tonight? And if so, why didn't he?
Well, he hadn't practiced in 13 days, Jimmy.
Okay.
Which a lot of those guys hadn't practiced in 13 days that played. So it's probably a lot tougher on a quarterback.
And in regard to the others that did not play, do you have any idea of anticipating when you can get them back?
Probably next week.
Austin Price, then Blake Topmeyer.
Coach, you talk about the positives in this game, and getting back to work tomorrow. Do you leave this game feeling differently than you have in the previous losses? I mean, is there a kind of a different kind of excitement to know that there were some plays made today?
No. I came to this stadium to win the game, right? Just like you go to every one of them. So that's the only goal. So no, that's the answer.
Jeremy, you mentioned the third downs being a problem at times tonight. What did you see being some of the issues in those scenarios?
Well, Blake, I don't know how much you know about football, but you can play inside man-to-man or you can play outside man-to-man. And if they're running inside breaking routes, you like to play them from inside out. There was 3 times tonight that they converted first downs when we're playing inside man-to-man and they complete balls breaking inside. One time we gave up a first down on 3rd and 12 and we called cover 2. And the corner don't split the zone and get to the sticks, okay, which is the first down marker in case you don't know. So I would start from the sticks and make them throw the ball in front of me and go tackle them because we've got pretty good tacklers. So there's 4 first downs, and that's 4 too many because they're good enough. They're good enough that they're going to make some first downs on their own, and they called a corner route down there. We're playing inside man-to-man on that one. That's a tough cover. It's tough cover for anybody. You got to push into them. You can coach them up and coach them to where maybe they can make that play. But, that's a good call on their part or a bad call on our part, either way you want to look at it. But you can't give alley-oops. When we got good calls called, we need to execute them, get off the field.
Wes Rucker, then David Pascal.
Jeremy, it looked like Florida defensively got into y'all's backfield a good bit today. With that pressure, I know they bring different stuff. Grantham always has. How did you feel like your guys protected up front? It seemed like, there were some guys in and out of the lineup. How did you think they did up front today?
Well, I feel like we had a really good plan offensively. When you're 4 open and they want to bring pressure, there's no way to hide it, right? So everybody knows they're coming, right? Does that make sense? There's 4 guys out here, so if somebody's got a guard, they don't. So you can see them, right? You can see them coming. We felt like we had good answers. Got to get the ball out of our hand, and that's what happens with a young quarterback sometimes, holding on to the football. Got to get the ball out of the hand. Sometimes it's just like reading a book, right? You see it coming, get the ball out. It's that simple, So, and he'll get better the longer he does it.
Jeremy, you knew going in Kyle Pitts is an incredible matchup issue. How do you think things went on that front?
He, to me, he's really hard to guard when he's at wide receiver, getting matched up at corners, and then they can move him inside. And he's got wiggle like a wide receiver, but he weighs 240 pounds, he's a tough cover. There was times tonight that we had him double covered, had lots of calls that way. But when they hurt us over there on the trip side, on the 3-by-1 side a couple of times, got matched up on some linebackers. So got a really good scheme going there, and they got two good players that have a lot of experience that know how to execute it, and the quarterback gets them the ball. So we obviously didn't do a good enough job, that's for sure.
Mike Wilson, then Gustavo.
Yeah, Jeremy, we'd seen a lot of Harrison Bailey and some Brian Maurer in the last few weeks. Why hadn't JT Shrout gotten another opportunity since Kentucky until tonight?
Well, after the after the Kentucky game, we had those those Sunday night scrimmages or what we call opportunity periods after practice. We've continued to do that up until really probably the last couple of weeks here. We've not done it here in the last couple of weeks, but just based off that, we just felt like there was a time that we wanted to go with those guys. But it kind of come back around to JT. It happens that way sometimes. And I thought he's taken a lot of advantage of the opportunities that he's had. He had a really good week. The last 10 days were really, really good. Unfortunately, he hurt his arm a little bit, but it looked like he played okay with it today.
Then Ramel Keaton, was he out injured tonight, or is he opted out? What's his status?
Yeah, Ramel is not going to finish the year playing football. He's going to continue to focus on academics, and that will be a great opportunity for him.
Gustavo.
In terms of putting pressure on Kyle Trask, do you see the defense didn't put enough pressure on Kyle Trask?
Well, no, we didn't. You got to be able to affect the quarterback, right, Gustavo? And you got to get to him. You got to affect him. And we did not do a good enough job there. No, we didn't.
Back to Jimmy Himes and Matt Ray.
Jeremy, Florida had 19 yards on 17 carries. Just talk about your run defense against Florida.
Well, I didn't even realize they ran the football, to be honest. It seemed like they threw it every snap. It's totally different than, probably 3 years ago playing against, Dan when he was at Mississippi State. I felt like our guys played hard. Defensively, we played hard. Okay. We had 3 or 4 guys that hadn't practiced in 2 weeks, right? We made some mistakes in the game, and I made some bad calls, that didn't put them in the best place to have success against a good football team. I got to do better. All right. We all got to do better, all right, to be able to stop this team. There was a few plays tonight that they made on us they shouldn't have made. All right, and we've got to fix that. We got to make sure that everything that they do, that they earn it, and that's not taking nothing away from them, because they're going to make a bunch of plays because they got a lot of talent. And they're good coaches and got a really good scheme, but we got to make them earn it every week.
Also, Jeremy, there were 3 times Florida started a possession in your territory and they didn't score. And I just wonder, from your perspective, how proud you are of your defense for being able to stop Florida when they had such prime field position.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened a couple of times this year. We turned the ball over twice against Georgia starting the second half. It's happened several times. Again, when you're looking for things like that, that's teams that are quitting. Our team ain't quitting, okay? We don't have an effort problem. We don't have a toughness problem, all right? We got an execution problem. Okay. And we've got to work hard to fix that. And our guys will, I don't know how to describe ever how many guys we had that didn't practice, that just showed up and wanted to play. They didn't have to play. All right. Because again, I don't know how many of you guys played ball, but, if you don't shoot any free throws, for a couple of weeks, or you don't shoot a ball for a couple of weeks, it's hard to make them on game day, right? If you don't play somebody man-to-man for 2 weeks, it's hard to guard 84. It's pretty good, And these guys had a choice. They could have said, we're not going to play, but no, they want to play. All these guys want to play. It's just unusual circumstances, and probably, truth be known, I'm too hard on them. All right, I'm too hard on them. That's probably the truth. You know, I'd ought to be thankful that they want to play. All right, and it don't matter that they didn't practice; they still want to play. That's probably the truth of the matter.
Matt?
Hey, Jeremy, how would you assess Cooper Mays' performance tonight in his first start? And, what do you kind of expect from him moving forward if Brandon Kennedy remains limited?
Playing the center position during the game, it's hard for me to know exactly how he played. Listening on the headphones, I didn't feel like there was an IDing problem with the fronts or anything like that, just listening to the offensive coaches talk. So from a poise and execution from there, I think he must have done a pretty good job. I didn't see any wild snaps or anything like that. So that's some of the things that you would think with a young center. Coop's a tough kid. He's a smart kid. Excuse me. Works really hard. He's only going to get better. So it's good that he got to play against these guys. They got a good defense. So I have to watch the film to tell you more.
Last question to Jimmy Hine.
Oh,
Jeremy, do you have an idea of how many players you thought might not play because of COVID or contact tracing that actually did play tonight?
How many players that say that again, Jimmy?
How many players? You had a number of players that had missed practice that you talked about. And I just wonder how many actually played that you thought were not going to be able to play due to the contact tracing.
Oh, I got you. Because the rule change.
Right.
I got you. We only had two. We only had two that fell in that category. So most of our players, I get your question now, because what the CDC and the SEC did.
Right on Thursday when the athletic director
right.
spoke.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't clear.
No, that makes sense now. No, there was. I think there was three. We had three players that that didn't think they would be able to play by Saturday, but they were, because of the new rule.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have players shortly.